Hi, Chem Team. You guys saw in class that in order to become stable, some nonmetals need to share more than one of their orbitals with the same atom. An example of this occurs with hydrogen, nitrogen, and carbon. When these three atoms bond together, hydrogen, with one valence electron out of 2 in its valence shell, will share one of its orbitals. Nitrogen, with 5 valence electrons out of 8 in its valence shell, will share 3 unpaired orbitals. And carbon, with 4 out of 8 valence electrons, has 4 unpaired orbitals that it will share. So when these molecules bond together, carbon will be the central atom because it has the most unpaired orbitals to form bonds with. So we'll draw that over here. And hydrogen and nitrogen will be terminal atoms. They'll bond onto the ends of the molecules. We'll show that here. Hydrogen will share one of its unpaired electrons with one of carbon's unpaired electrons, and nitrogen will do the same thing. Now at this point, hydrogen is stable. It has 2 valence electrons in its first valence shell. But carbon and nitrogen are not. If you count up the number of electrons in carbon's valence shell, you can see carbon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And nitrogen has the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what carbon and nitrogen will do is they will continue to share these unpaired electrons with each other, in the process stabilizing both atoms. Now if you were drawing this molecule on your paper, you might be tempted to leave the Lewis structure as is, although I'm going to ask that in our class that you draw the shared orbitals between the two atoms rather than kind of this sloppy around the atoms. So we'll do that here. Now, the names for these bonds, the first bonds that form, so this first bond that forms between the carbon and hydrogen atom and the first bond that forms between the carbon and nitrogen atom, we call that a sigma bond or an S bond. And that's because the orbital that's getting shared is an s orbital. Whereas the second 2 orbitals that are shared are called pi bonds or p bonds because they are formed from shared p orbitals. Pi is just the Greek letter for p, sigma is just the Greek letter for s. And that's it. At this point, you guys have a couple of practice problems. We'll see you in class tomorrow.